The last letter. In a small town by the sea, there lived a woman named Eliza who ran a little bookstore tucked between the bakery and the post office. The town was small enough that everyone knew everyone's business, but Eliza preferred to keep to herself, pouring her heart into the books she sold and the quiet moments between the pages. She was content in her solitude, but the townsfolk often whispered about her. You know, her husband disappeared years ago, they'd say. No one ever saw him again. She's never been the same since. It was true. Eliza's husband, Jacob, had vanished one summer night with only a note left behind. I'll always love you, but I need to go. Don't look for me. Eliza had searched for him for months, asking everyone, even the distant cousins, if they'd seen him. But Jacob was gone, and the town moved on as towns do. Yet, for Eliza, every morning, she would wake up and find herself in the same place alone. One cold, gray morning in December, as Eliza was unpacking a shipment of old novels, a letter arrived and marked, addressed only to Eliza. She didn't recognize the handwriting, but something about it felt familiar. She hesitated before opening it, but her fingers trembled as she broke the seal. Inside was a single, fragile piece of paper, with the words, I've waited too long to send this. I never stopped thinking of you, but I was afraid. I was afraid of the hurt I caused, afraid you would never forgive me. You have every right to be angry. I can't undo the years I've lost. But if you still have room for me, I'd like to come back. I'm not the same man I was before. I've changed. I don't deserve you, but I hope you'll let me try again. Eliza's breath caught in her chest. She recognized Jacob's handwriting, but how could it be him? Was this some cruel joke? After all these years, she felt her pulse quicken as she glanced around the room, her mind spinning. Was this a letter from a ghost? Or had he truly come back? The letter wasn't signed, but Eliza didn't need a signature. She knew. She had never stopped hoping, even when the hope seemed ridiculous. Even when she told herself to let go. She had never truly let go of Jacob. She spent the entire day in the bookstore, the letter clutched in her hand. As the sun set, she walked down the beach, the cold air biting at her skin, the waves crashing against the rocks. She'd spent years walking this beach, hoping to find some sign, some clue, that would bring her closer to the truth of Jacob's disappearance. The letter now felt like a call, a lifeline thrown to her across the years. But was she ready to open that door again? Was it worth the risk of more hurt, more years lost? The next morning, Eliza wrote a letter of her own.
I never stopped loving you, but I also need to know who you've become. If you still want to try, I'll meet you at the pier tomorrow night at midnight. Don't keep me waiting.
She sent the letter, not trusting her own heart but trusting the truth in the words. And when the night came, she went to the pier, the place where they had spent so many hours together when they were young and in love. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silver path across the water. Eliza stood there, her coat wrapped tight around her, waiting. The minutes stretched into hours, the cold creeping into her bones. But Eliza did not leave. She had made her choice, and now she would wait, no matter what. And just as the clock struck midnight, a figure appeared in the distance, walking slowly toward her. She recognized him immediately, though he looked older, more worn. His face was marked by time and regret, but those eyes were the same as they had always been. Jacob. They stood there for a long moment, not speaking, just looking at each other. The world around them seemed to hold its breath. I'm sorry, he finally said, his voice rough. I didn't know how to come back. I didn't know if I could. But I'm here now, and I'll wait for you, for as long as it takes. Eliza felt her heart tighten in her chest.
You left me, she whispered, her voice cracking. You left me without a word, without a reason.
I know, he said, taking a step closer. I was afraid. I thought you'd be better off without me. I was wrong. So wrong. Eliza's eyes filled with tears, and for the first time in years, she allowed herself to feel everything she had buried. All the pain, all the loneliness, all the unanswered questions. But there, in the silence between them, there was something else to a chance. A possibility.
I don't know if I can forgive you, she said quietly. But maybe we can start again. Maybe we can try.
Jacob nodded. I'll take whatever you can give me. I'm not asking for everything. I just want a chance." They stood there in the quiet of the night, the sound of the wave crashing softly against the shore. And as the first light of dawn touched the horizon, Eliza reached out, taking Jacob's hand in hers. They didn't speak again. They didn't need to. The years apart had been long and difficult, but perhaps, just perhaps, there was something left to rebuild. And in that moment, they both knew sometimes the hardest part wasn't the leaving but the returning.